So, the other day I was chilling in my place and I received a text from my mom's best friend. Let's just call her Jamie for now. She was asking me for advice on how to move out and start out when moving to the US. So, as you may know by now, like, I know I'm repeating myself. I was born here, moved to Morocco, came back as soon as I turned 18. Anyways, the reason why Jamie asked me is because her son, Johnny, is moving out here after high school. And as I was giving her the instructions, it hit me like a truck. I was like, man, let's just take a second and think about my past. Why? The only time you should ever look back is to see how far you've come. Such a plot leads me to how my adult life journey started and the kind of mistakes I've done and the lessons I've learned. And honestly, you guys deserve this as a part of Memento because honestly, this class has been amazing since day one. Shout out to Professor A. Let's give her a round of applause. If you could slide in extra credit, that would be. So, my first day was crazy. I was hosted by my dad's friend, and turns out our friend Kinza actually is friends with his daughter. And I was so happy. It turned out I was so happy to the point where I went and played soccer in the freaking snow. 2 weeks later, I moved to a new apartment with 3 random strangers, and I actually shared the room with one of them. And it was a weird feeling, but nevertheless, I knew I had to start from the bottom. After a while, I got hired at an Italian restaurant, and my dad asked his friend, the store owner, to go harsh on me so I could become a man. A few days later, I've done a huge mistake. I forced myself to lift extremely heavy weight just to please the store owner. The next day, I felt severe low back pain. And the worst part, I didn't have insurance, so I had to rely on time to heal it. And I learned my first lesson. Always make your health as a #1 priority. 2 weeks later, I got hired at Five Guys. And pretty much from that day on, it was just 8 months of hardship and pain, working 40 hours a week without being able to hit the gym nor play soccer. I felt like a bird without wings. I felt like a car without wheels. I felt like yin without yang. That injury was the worst thing that ever happened to me. And I just wanted one thing and one thing only, my health back. I was getting desperate. And my parents called me and told me, and I quote, "Listen close, son. You better get your ass back here and fix your problem because we got insurance here, boy." So I was like, you know what? That sounds like a good idea. I also get to see my family, so 2 birds with 1 stone. So I booked the flight to Morocco to stay there for 2 months. And when I met my family after almost a year, it was a great feeling. As soon as I met him, I felt real joy. And it's weird because I honestly just wanted to move out and leave home before, and I never valued my family as much. So I learned the new lesson: never take your family for granted. 2 months later, I was able to heal my back, and I went back to the US, and but this time stronger than ever. After a while, I got introduced to the stock market, where you can invest your money in hopes of growing it, but there's like a huge risk of you losing it. After learning the skill, I once made $800 in 5 minutes. Yeah, that's crazy. But, you know, eventually I got greedy and let my emotions get the better of me, and I ended up losing $3,000. And I learned the new lesson: never act based on emotion, but rather than always act based on logic rather than emotion. After taking that major L, I wanted to turn it into a W. So instead of giving up, I started working harder and harder. I quit my job and became my own boss. My life started getting better and better as I made more money than ever, expanded my social circle, and most importantly, got a lot of reference experience. Ultimately, life can be unfairly hard. It will beat you to the ground without showing any mercy. And the best way to deal with that is to keep getting back up and keep moving forward. And please, don't forget the lessons. Never take your family for granted. Your health is #1 priority, and always act based on logic rather than emotions. Actually, I lied. There's one more lesson. do what you gotta do without caring what people think of you. Because no matter what you do, there will be supporters and there will be haters. The love of the supporters will make me strong. The hate of the haters will make me unstoppable. Thank you.